Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going to listen to the interactive read aloud called The Frog and the Locust. This is based on a Pueblo folktale. Let's talk about some vocabulary words first. A drought is a long period of time with no rain. Temperature. The temperature tells how hot or how cold something is. Clever. If you have a clever idea, you have a bright or a smart idea. Predict. To predict is to guess what will happen in the future. Storm. During a storm, there are strong winds, heavy rain, or snow. Let's listen to the story.
The Frog and the Locust, based on a Pueblo folktale. How do the animals who lived near the creek finally get a different kind of weather? Pakua was a little green frog. She lived next to a creek in the forest. One summer, there was a drought for many weeks. Everything was hot and dusty, even the trees. Without rain to keep it flowing, the creek was starting to dry up. It shrank into a row of muddy puddles. Many forest creatures left their homes to search for water, but Pakua stayed near her puddle. "I feel too hot to do anything," Pakua moaned, "but I must get help from the rain god. If it doesn't rain soon, we will all be in trouble." So Pakua began to sing. As she croaked and bellowed, her throat grew round like a bubble. But her song was not loud enough. The rain god high up in the sky could not hear her.
So on this first page, who is the character in the picture? Who is this frog? Her name is Pakua. Why is her throat so big? Her throat grew like a round bubble because she croaked and was trying to sing for the rain god.
Mahu was a locust. He lived in the trees along the creek. One day, he heard a frog singing a song that he had never heard before. It was Pakua's rain song. Like Pakua, Mahu was lazy from the high temperature. He felt too tired to lift even a single wing. But he was curious about Pakua's song, so he flew to a branch that hung over her puddle. "What are you doing, frog?" asked Mahu. "I am singing to the rain god," answered Pakua. "I am asking him to send us water from the sky." "That is a very good idea," said Mahu. "It is terribly hot and dry. If anyone can help us, the rain god can. Let me help." "That would be wonderful," replied Pakua. So Mahu began to sing too. He rubbed his wings and feet together and made a sound like a shaking rattle. But even together, the frog and locust songs were not loud enough to catch the attention of the rain god.
Who is the new character in this picture? I see the locust, and his name is Mahu. And what are the characters talking about with one another? They decide to work together to get the rain god to send them some rain.
Pakua and Mahu's duet made such a loud noise that other animals started to hear them. At the next puddle, another frog and another locust decided to find out what was going on. One hopped and the other flew over to Pakua and Mahu's puddle. "What are you two doing?" they asked. Pakua and Mahu stopped their singing long enough to answer. "We are singing to the rain god," responded Pakua. "We are asking him to send us water from the sky," added Mahu. Then they went back to singing. "Now, isn't that a clever idea?" said the other locust to the other frog. I predict that if we sing along, the rain god will hear the four of us." "We are going to help you," the second frog said to Pakwa and Mahu. She and the locust returned to their puddle and started singing. Back at their own puddle, Pakwa and Mahu heard their song getting stronger. "I hope this works," Pakwa thought. "This might be our last chance for the rain god to hear our song."
On the third page, what are the second locust and frog doing? They came over to see what the singing was about with the first frog and locust, and how are they going to help? They decided to do the same song and sing at their puddle to try to reach the rain god.
Still, there was no response from the rain god. But then something amazing happened. Pakwa and Mahu's song had reached every animal in the creek. Up and down the creek, more locusts and frogs heard the rain song and joined in. Puddle by puddle, one by one, they began to chirp, snap, rattle, and croak. Before long, the spirited song of hundreds of frogs and locusts filled the forest and traveled high up into the sky. Suddenly, the rain god woke up from his long nap. "How can I get any sleep with that loud noise going on?" he complained. Then the rain god looked down on his forest and its creatures. He saw the dusty trees, the dried-up creek, and the thirsty animals. And at once he knew that the song of the frogs and the locusts was a call for help. So the rain god gathered up his biggest rain clouds and went to work. Far below, Pakwa and Mahu saw the clouds gather overhead. They felt the first drops of water. And as the storm came and rain filled up the creek, they sang with joy.
How do the animals solve their problem? They ended up singing loud enough for the rain god to hear, but how did they make that happen? All of the animals around helped out with the song to help reach the rain god. Thank you for joining me today.